to this edition of the Pipeline Podcast, brought to you by Oilfire Whiskey. I'm Zach Reynolds, joined alongside by Luke Hamilton. Got a little bit of a special episode here at the Oilers Ice Center. It's a great day today coming out here for the skate with the team, get to see Santa. A ton of fun and something we've never done before, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great time to be able to come on out and see a ton of players here on the ice. Yeah, they're not checking guys into the boards here today, but you get a chance to get an autograph. You get a chance to kind of hang out and see them outside of the ice of the BOK Center. And, of course, even some photos of Santa here around Christmas time, and everybody seems to be enjoying themselves.
Yeah, it's a great way to get going with the day and with the season, and with coming up on this weekend, the last two home games of the season. Of the year 2022, and then finishing out the year on the road in Rapid City as well. But a lot to look forward to in those games, and that's a lot of new guys, right, that we really haven't talked about yet. Of course, Dante Sheriff has a couple games to his credit already, and has looked pretty sharp. And then today, announcing that we pulled in Benjamin Gagne, a defenseman, sending Adam Samuelson to Fort Wayne. And then another trade, which will not result in a player coming to us, but we do have his rights. Cody Milan is brought in for future considerations from Norfolk. He'll be going overseas to play, but as we said, he'll have his rights.
Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate that Milan's not going to be able to join the Oilers this year, but hey, the advantage is he comes back to the United States, he comes back to the ECHL, you will have his rights as Norfolk has traded those away, to the Oilers. I'm interested to see what Benjamin Gagne brings to the table. Of course, Samuelson comes out. That's a lot of size going out and not as much size coming in. But Benjamin Gagne has put up quite a few points in his time with Fort Wayne. Of course, that's a really tough division to score. Yeah. Some really good defenses in that division, including the Indy Fuel, who we've seen at the BOK Center already. About a half-point per game type of player, Benjamin Gagne as a defenseman. So maybe he can put those types of numbers up here in Tulsa. We'll be excited to see him on the ice, but you mentioned him as well. Coming in, Dante Sheriff as well. We've only seen 2 games. My opinion is it'll be interesting to see what Dante Sheriff is weekend 1 at the pro level, and then weekend 2 at the pro level. You kind of have to soak it up for a couple of games for sure if you're Dante Sheriff, but now you have a chance against Allen to really make an impact, and I think he made an impact in week 1 just as well.
Definitely, and both players coming in are young, and they had great junior careers. You look at Dante Sheriff, he was the NAHL's Player of the Year, I believe it was 2019-20, 2018-19. Gagne's the captain for the Quebec Ramparts, which are, the most historic franchise within the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. So both of them had really stellar amateur careers, and coming now to the pro level, there's a lot. You mentioned it. Gagne's got 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in just 15 games, which is great to see. And it seems like that production is pretty consistent over his career. He's been about, like you said, a half a point per game guy, and that's not easy to find on the back end. And there could be somebody as well that could be a big boost to the power play.
Yeah, I think so. Look, you're starting to find the power play a little bit more productive here if you're head coach Rob Murray. And, there's been a different aspect with Dante Sheriff on that weekend 1 as well. Max Golad's being utilized a little bit more differently, you could say, on the power play, taking a little bit more of a slap shot style off of that right circle, then maybe dancing in tighter. And I like that. I think he's really found some success with that. We've seen Jimmy Soper playing that bumper position, helping out a ton as well. I think the back end could be spiced up a bit. I thought, at the beginning of the year, maybe a guy like Jared Hilderman was going to find himself really consistently on the power play, potentially with the way that he skated. But you don't have Jared Hilderman, as he's done great up in San Diego. Looks like he's getting plenty of ice time there, and you can't bank on him coming back down right now. So Gagne might be another piece that you can get some production on the power play with. But it's all you have to see later, as we've got Allen here upcoming right before Christmas.
Certainly, it'll be interesting to see if he plays here against the Americans. Of course, those games both being at home. We haven't seen the Americans since opening night, and that was one of the best games the Oilers have played this year. It was a really strong win. It was a 1-goal win, a 4-3 win, but you could easily see that the Oilers were on their game. But both teams are a lot different than what we saw at that point. Allen has so many new players on their roster since then. They've been struggling this year, but have picked it up here as of late. And then going in from there, they got Hank Crone as well in the top 5 in points in the league right now. So even though they're at the bottom of the division, they won't be an easy set of games, but I think it's a good barometer.
Yeah, you're right. These teams are completely different from opening night, to say the least. You don't have J.C. Campagna like you had on opening night for the Oilers, Jack Doremus, a couple of players going to Europe, and some changes on the back end. So even goaltending right now is a bit different. You've got Colton Ellis, of course, but you've got Brad Arvanitis as well, who has proven to be a good option to go to here after his game on Saturday. 3-0 certainly does not show what he did in that game for sure. So I think you've got a good 1-2 punch right now in net. You just have to be able to help those guys out in front of them. And I think the Oilers are looking to make a statement against the Americans going into the Christmas break. They want to tighten their game up defensively. And honestly, every time you tighten your game up defensively, it helps the offense get the other way. You got to get the puck off of your stick a little bit quicker, and I think the Oilers are going to emphasize that against Allen. It'll be fun to watch. If you're looking for some hockey here before the Christmas break, this rivalry as well over the past few years has been great to watch, the Americans and the Oilers.
It certainly has. We'll see it to be okay for the last 2 home games of 2022 against the Allen Americans, coming up here on the 22nd and the 23rd. Then we'll finish out the year in Rapid City on the road before coming back home to Green Country later on in January. Before then, though, we'll bring you some special guests here on the Pipeline Podcast presented by Oilfire. Zach Reynolds here alongside Colton Ellis on the Pipeline Podcast, brought to you by Oilfire Whiskey. Colton, coming in, to this season, you're a prospect for the Blues. It's obviously a really exciting time, and getting to come down here and play. Not with St. Louis not having a main primary affiliate. Obviously, having a good working relationship here with us being the affiliate in the past, and just coming down from Tulsa, or to Tulsa, I should say. Have you enjoyed your time here so far?
It's been great so far. Everybody's been very welcoming since I got here right from day one. Even the community, everybody in the community. I'm going out to get groceries or whatever maybe. All the people are very friendly here, so it's very nice. It feels a bit like home in that sense.
And at one point in the year, you had played back-to-back overtime games, and Luke and I were talking about on the broadcast. Is that pretty tiring as a goaltender? It's just a few extra minutes, but there's the 3-on-3, and is it more maybe a mentally taxing thing than a regular few games in a row?
Yes and no. I think you're just focused on winning each game that you're in, and like every other goalie, I want to be in the net as often as I can. So I enjoy that extra time, but anytime I'm able to get the chance to play a couple more minutes or to get into another game, it's awesome.
We've also talked about it. One last hockey question before we get rolling with some holiday goodies is you're obviously a very strong player of the puck. Do a great job, getting it out and helping out your defensemen. Were you ever a skater, or did you just learn to be a good goaltender when it comes to handling the puck?
Yeah, I love just stick handling. I think I played player up until I was 11 or so before I fully switched. So whenever I get the chance to go out on the ice and just my skates and stick handles, I love doing that, whether it's pond hockey or on the ice like this. So I guess that just translates to my game playing goalie.
I think it was one of your earlier practices when you got here. I don't know if we got to ask you this. I know we asked Manny, and he said a pair of goalie pads, but what's your favorite Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
It might be probably my first set of goalie pads. I remember my father put them in a big black hockey bag, so it was just a big bag and it was full. So and I didn't know what it was going to be. I don't even know if it was a hockey bag or not, but nonetheless, it was just it was very surprising to open it up, and I was pretty thankful for it.
We talk about a lot of guys, in Canada, they start playing really young and get into the game really early on. Do you remember how young you were when you first started getting on the ice, and then how old you were when you first started being a goaltender?
I'd imagine I started skating probably around 4 or 5, like most people, but to your question about being a goalie, I think I was probably 10 when I started playing in and out, and then I think I made the full-time switch when I was 11.
And some people, they have different family Christmas traditions and, do Christmas different ways. And we mentioned your family celebrates Christmas. So what's your favorite part of the day? And does your family have anything maybe different or interesting they do?
I don't think anything too abnormal. I think just having everybody together is my favorite part. We usually have some relatives over on Christmas Day and have a big meal and open each other's presents. So for me, it's just getting to spend the time with family and yeah, I guess that's it.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to catch up with us, and we'll have to get you on the show again later on the year.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Colton. Zach Reynolds here on the Pipeline Podcast, brought to you by Oilfire Whiskey. I'm here alongside defenseman Cameron Saprika. We've been asking some guys some different Christmas questions and holiday questions throughout the day. First one is Christmas the holiday your family kind of celebrates around this time of year?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of a nice time to get together with your family and enjoy a couple days. This is actually my first Christmas away from home, so it's going to be a little different for me this year. But yeah, it's definitely a time of year I look forward to. Get some downtime with my family.
And every family kind of has their own stuff, their own traditions.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys do that might be a little different?
Yeah, I don't know if it's different. I'm sure a lot of other families maybe do it too, but my great grandma started it. She started getting every grandkid pajamas for Christmas.
Oh.
So one thing my mom kind of does now is get everybody new pajamas that all match.
Yeah.
And then each year we kind of have a picture with our pajamas on. It's kind of funny. So this year the picture might be with me in the background on FaceTime, but it's definitely a tradition I look forward to, and definitely my siblings as well.
Is that something you guys put on? Is that like the first thing you open and then you open gifts? Is that where to go?
What we actually do is we do it on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
so the night before Christmas, so we have our pajamas for bedtime, and we wake up in the morning, we all have them on. So it's something I really look forward to.
We were, talking about it. I think you answered when we did the TikTok on it about favorite Christmas gifts, and I think yours was a new winter jacket.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
A lot of guys go with hockey stuff, right? So how good was this winter jacket? And on top of that, what's probably the best thing hockey related you've ever got?
Yeah, I was trying not to say something
hockey
it's good.
related. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So hockey related, definitely a hockey stick for sure. I remember the first time I got a hockey stick for Christmas, my dad hid it somewhere in the house, and he told me I had to go find my gift. And I found it. I remember it was like a Bauer hockey stick, and I was so excited. But yeah, other than that, the winter jacket was great too. That was last year.
I remember getting an Easton SE16 stick.
Yeah.
And my dad tucked it under the couch.
Yeah.
So it was all over, and he was like, "Oh, go put your hand under the couch and pull out one more thing."
Such a good feeling as a hockey player.
Just get a new stick. And, what is it that got you into hockey? Obviously, your dad's in hockey as well. Is he the guy that got you into it?
Yeah, my dad and my brother. I have an older brother who's 4 years older than I am, and I've always followed his hockey career. And he was one of the guys I really looked up to and wanted to be like my brother and kind of follow along the same path he did in his career. And obviously, with my dad being involved in hockey too, that was another thing. With my dad being at the rink all the time, I always wanted to be at the rink, and I'm still kind of a rink rat because of that. But yeah, I was definitely those two had a huge influence on my desire to play hockey.
And at the end of the month, going up to Rapid City, South Dakota. You ever been to South Dakota before?
No, I haven't. I heard it's pretty cool.
It's actually a pretty cool spot.
Is it?
The people are nice.
Yeah.
It's a good spot. So you gonna try and make a trip out to Mount Rushmore then?
I heard some guys talking about it. How far? Do you know how far it is?
I don't think it's too far.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the bus will go out there potentially. So it might not be bad, right?
If we have some time off, I think that's definitely something I'd like to look into.
Is there anywhere in the league that, that you've been in, through your junior career and beyond that you really a rink or a city that you really enjoyed going to?
I'd have to say Ottawa. Ottawa was always great because my brother and my sister both go to school there. So my brother went to Carleton, and my sister right now is at Ottawa U. So when I was in the OHL, I was always excited to go there because I knew I was going to have family in the crowd. And obviously with Belleville, where I'm from, not having an OHL team anymore, I didn't get to see my family at games as much as normal. And when I played for Guelph last season, we didn't play in the Eastern Conference. So I always look forward to playing in Ottawa earlier in my junior career, and it's a great city and nice rink, and it was definitely a game I always had circled on my calendar.
Well, thanks for taking the time to do this with us, and have a good Christmas, even if it's away from home on FaceTime.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. Zach Reynolds here on the Pipeline Podcast presented by Oilfire Whiskey. I'm here with Eddie Matsushima. Of course, Eddie having a great season so far. We'll talk a little hockey before we get into the holidays, but obviously a great season, leading the team in points, point per game average. What were you working on this summer that or what maybe grew with you in your game that has allowed you to have this fantastic start?
I actually wound up moving up to right near Minneapolis. My fiance and I just bought a place this past summer. And so I was actually pretty nervous because I had to completely change everything, my routine, my workout schedule, everything, where I skated, everything I did, and kind of crossed my fingers, and things have kind of worked out a bit. So.
Yeah, you could say that for sure. And you're kind of guy that it's a little more regimented, right? Like some guys kind of fly by the seat of their pants. You know me, I'm like a complete mess all the time. But you've got your day usually figured out pretty much ahead of time, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We've asked if you guys so far around this time of year is Christmas what your family celebrates? You guys celebrate anything else around this time of year?
Yeah, no, Christmas is the big one, but unfortunately for me this year, I think we're going to be celebrating Christmas in the springtime or in the summer.
Via FaceTime maybe, right?
Yeah.
A little bit on the day. On Christmas Day usually, does your family have any cool, funny things? We're talking to Cameron Safrika. His family wears matching pajamas every Christmas. Do you guys do anything that's fun or maybe a little different?
No, not really. I mean, my mom usually cooks a big breakfast and makes, she calls it monkey bread. I don't know. Some people call it other stuff.
Bread,
she always makes that.
So
we usually never eat it, but because we have such a big breakfast, she always makes that, and then we just open presents together and kind of just have the day,
And speaking of, I can't remember if we asked you when we were doing the TikTok videos. We were asking everybody what their favorite Christmas gift they've ever gotten is. What's on your number one spot?
Favorite Christmas gift I've ever gotten? Actually, I got a DJ controller a few years ago. That's my secret identity, DJ Soy Sauce. Yeah. DJ'd in college. And so my dad actually my whole family got me that for kind of just like the big present for 1 year.
Yeah.
Sparked my whole DJ career, so it's probably my favorite Christmas gift.
And are you still doing DJing on the side? Or?
I am, I DJ weddings, clubs, private events, anything that needs a PA system.
Awesome. Do you do a lot of like EDM music or anything in particular?
That's my favorite. Like if I go to like a college club or a nightclub or something, that's my favorite. But weddings is what I do mostly in the summer. So that's more, just your traditional wedding music, get everybody dancing.
We've talked some things about hockey, and we've also talked about Christmas. Kind of combining the two with the things is. We've talked about when you're a kid on Christmas Eve, right? You're really excited going into things, and there's not a ton of feelings that really match it. But any moments in your hockey career that you would say maybe have kind of been close to Christmas Day sort of feeling, or something you've anticipated like that?
That's pretty tough. I think maybe when I was playing in the SPHL, we won the championship over COVID year, and that's probably one of the only things that's ever matched that intensity of a feeling.
Absolutely. Well, Eddie, hey, thanks for taking the time to do this with us, and hope you have a great Christmas, even if it's celebrated in the spring.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning into this special episode of the Pipeline Podcast, brought to you by Oilfire Whiskey. We've got 2 games this week, both against the Allen Americans on the 22nd and the 23rd. Get your tickets by calling the office at 918-632-7825. We had a ton of fun today. From Luke Hamilton, our various guests, I'm Zach Reynolds. Hope you have a fun, safe, fantastic holiday season. We'll catch you at the BOK Center in the new year.